Wow, that was quick. I didn't even have to queue for that. What's going on, everybody? Shady's on Broadway. I wanted to try to get at least one or two of these games kind of like pre-schedule uploaded. The reason being is I'm actually going to be out of state next week for 2 weeks, and the reason why I'm trying to do this now is kind of like in order to make sure that I scheduled everything with work correctly. To well, tonight, because I just finished my shift, and tomorrow is going to be the best time for me to get some recording and content in with some editing, because I'm going to be working like the next 5 to 6 days straight, kind of like longer shifts. And then after that, I just need to fly out already and start packing. So that's going to be exciting, but I will be like basically away from computers, editing software, all that good stuff. I mean, I'll still have my phone, but it's kind of hard to record content on the phone. But I definitely will try to get you guys some footage. I'll be going to New York and Indiana. Let me place this out and then we'll talk a little bit more about that. So we're placing second, 6-5-11, pretty standard stuff. Traditionally, you take 8-4-3 here. The only risk associated is with the 3-8 possibly being open. But I don't think anybody grabs that necessarily as a settle spot because it doesn't pair well with anything. So I hate pointing toward 3-1s with strong ore because a lot of people do end up placing on it. So I'm going to make a suboptimal move and just point it right. I mean, honestly, no. I can point it left because 4-3 is not bad either. But there is a risk. There's a small chance, small risk that somebody does 5-9-10 or 5-9-12 as their second pick, starts with the road and goes 3-8, cuts to 4-3. Anyway, let's finish the train of thought. So I'll be in New York for a week. I'm going to be spending most of that week with my mom, with my sister. Sister's birthday, so she wanted to celebrate that, but we're also actually visiting my nephew who's up there currently for college. So that should be exciting because I've never been to New York before. I've only been to a few different states, but hoping to do all the, the touristy stuff. But as far as what's relevant there is a Catan tournament in Ithaca that I plan on attending. It's a really small one, though, only 12 players, but it was the only tournament around New York City during that time frame in which I would be up there for 7 days. It is like a 4-hour train. If I don't end up using the train, I might literally have to book a flight just to play in that event. But generally, 12-player events, they're usually pretty easy. If not pretty easy, then they're your best chance to win. Because Catan Studios changed the way that the US qualifiers work now, that you need a minimum of 12 players. And since their seat limit is 12, I'm assuming that it should fill pretty quickly, pretty easily. And then traditionally what happens is you play 3 games, like prelim rounds. And then for 12, I think you only need like 2 wins and high points, or even maybe 1 win high points to get into finals. So you have 12 players and then you play 3 different tables of 4. And then you have, I'm assuming you just go around rotating players, and then you have a finals with the top 4 out of that. So to win the actual qualifier to get to U.S. Nationals, you have to win the whole thing, of course, which is the 4th game is the hardest part. Guaranteeing that you place in finals in small qualifiers is usually pretty easy because you can play for points. You usually only need to secure like 1 or 2 wins. Yeah, this happened that I was afraid of. I thought there was a risk of it because 6-3 is a good expansion, but it's okay. We don't really need the port. 3-4 is a decent spot to expand if we beat red. But yeah, so what I was saying is the U.S. qualifiers are one of the hardest, and the main reason is we have the most population when it comes to players. I would say the only one that rivals us would be Germany, but I believe they have significantly less events, and then there's quite a bit of action in South America and Canada as well, but to a lesser degree in terms of events and player count. So generally, the U.S. qualifiers are the hardest to win. For the simple concept that you have to first win in a state, and then you have to win against anywhere from 50 to 100 players from other states. Last year we had 100, but it usually averages a lot higher than most events. To give you a comparison, Canada, I think only had 20 maybe somewhere between 20 and 30 last year for their national. And then some places you don't even have a pre-qualifier, you just play directly in nationals. Yeah, see, so he should have done this in reverse, but I think start with the road and actually no, starting with the road to 6-3 is better. Anyway, but yeah, I was afraid of that. So you have to win in a state. Bigger states usually have much more events. Here in Hawaii, we only get one a year, if that. And unfortunately, I did not make top cut, but I honestly can't put any blame on that. I was actually supposed to volunteer the entire time during that event, but they were gracious enough to extend my my vacation time for that event to participate in the qualifier, Hawaii qualifier. But I only placed 5th seed, and then you have to get top 4 to make finals. So unfortunately, I didn't win the one in Hawaii, which means if I'm traveling anyway, I might as well try in another U.S. state, you know. Our pick here is going to be really obvious because we no longer have the 3-1. We're going to take the 6-11-12, start with the free road, and go to the 3-1 port. Because generally speaking, of course, 3-1s are the most important in auto ranks and the best port overall. So pretty easy placement there for us. I don't know where red goes. There's a decent chance they take something like 8-10 for the production. I don't see them taking 4-11, which is why I think it's safe. But 3-9-11 is also okay. Or you could do 9-2 and start with the road and even cut, or you can get creative with it. He has a few options. But yeah, so sorry, that's a long story, and then I promise we'll get actually into the game. Yeah, so that's kind of the idea, is if I can win a qualifier in New York, I might as well try for nationals again. I played last year. I didn't perform great. I didn't do terribly either. I had 1 win in 3 really high point games, which put me almost in top 16, but not quite. You needed 2 wins to make that cutoff, so I was a point shy. I had a couple games that I ended on, I think, 9 in. But yeah, so I would like to try that again. With 100 people, it's pretty hard, but the hardest part about winning a state qualifier is that you generally have to, well, you always have to win the finals, but then you also have to win at least 1 or 2 of the pre-qual games. So even to win an event, you have to have roughly like a 50-50 win rate, which is not always consistent in a game like this. But we're going to give it our best shot, and without further ado, let's jump right into the game. But I wanted to show you guys a little bit of a story, because I usually don't get to do that quite often. So, unfortunately, he is contesting 11-4 with his first road, and I do think that it's a race that we consistently win, so I am going to contest it. And by contesting it, I also do have the chance at 6-3. So it's going to come down to who rolls 7s, or who rolls a 12 or a 2 first. The brick is so terrible. I'm going to say yes to non-block. I don't even mind giving him a trade, because I know that I'm the one with ore. That's not what I asked you to do. That's not what I asked you to do, buddy. But it's okay. Stealing from red is essentially the same, even though he probably gives us a crappy... Oh, actually, I'll take wood. Wood is good. I was going to say if he gives us sheep, that would be annoying, but now we only need to get the brick. Yeah, so that's a good example of why non-block, non-steal is good, because he steals from our competitor, we don't lose a card, and we actually gain a card that we want, because we don't want ore at this stage of the game. Traditionally, just to clarify what I mean by that, traditionally ore is the most important resource when paired with wheat, but ore's power comes in mid and late game, whereas traditionally the strength of brick and wood is entirely in the early game. So when you make as much ore as I do, getting onto an expansion spot early on is much more important than building cities and cards. And then black is contesting our 3-1, which is kind of scummy because he has his own 3-1 on 5-2, so I didn't expect him to... Well, sorry, scummy is not the right word. I apologize. That's not proper language. It's aggressive. Aggressive is the correct term I would use there. And then, yeah, black gets a little mad at blue, understandably so. Why are you challenging that 3-1? You have your own. And that's not even a good 3-1 for him to expand to because he overproduces on wood. Comparatively, doubling on the wheat is much stronger for him. But I'm just asking the question. I could have framed this question also better. It comes off a lot more aggressive when you're communicating through text. Yeah, that's a fair statement. I don't think I need to reply to it, though. Now I just need to trade blue for a wheat. I mean, I understand it, but again, it's like... Okay, actually, yeah, I should not have written that because now black is just mad at blue. I don't want to do 2 for 2. I don't need to. I'm not giving him city. I'll give him pop, but I'm not going to give him city. Because actually, I would rather give him 2 cards on my turn because there's a good chance he 7s out instead. Yeah, he wanted to city instead of settle. Yeah, see, and that's the thing, right? You play anonymous auto rank games. This happens so often, where a single block of a solo will put someone on tilt. And see, like, I get robbed by red here, which I don't understand. Blue is pacing incredibly hard. But whatever. I need this wheat to get the settlement down. And blue is the only one with it. And if I have to do 2-1s, I have to do 2-1s. I mean, actually, no, never mind. Red's challenging for the spot. Guess I gotta offer 2-1 then. I don't want to trade with this guy, but... Nobody else is offering anything. And if I lose this 3-1, I don't think it's the end of the world. I just think that I've put blue in a very strong position. Which is unfortunately just the way that the rolls and the coordination of the trades worked out. So, yeah. We're going to get hit on 3 and 8 a lot. But the core concept is doubling on the 4 presently. Blue is really the only threat after this 4-3 is gone. I'm not worried about red now at all. They also have 3-9-11 to expand to, but it's not really great. Not really great for them, I should say. Let me just make sure my colonist audio is... Okay, hopefully the colonist audio is not too loud. I apologize. I didn't pre-mix it before I started. I'm still working on that, because I know the video I posted with Raymond, the audio was slightly tweaked. Yeah, I mean, black snipes the 3-1, and he can argue that it's for defensive value, but I just don't agree with it, because the 5-2 just opens your options. You're doubling your brick and your wheat when you already overproduce on wood. So, yes, in hindsight, some players would argue that going to the 3-1 is more important, but now we might have to play portless, but I don't necessarily think portless is terrible here. And the reason I say that is because we make all 5 resources and we make double wheat hex and a fair amount of sheep. We can really just use dev cards as our out. And yeah, I was just about to say if we pull something like Row Builder, we have options. You could even Road Builder to 6-2, but that's like really sleazy. Or even Road Builder into 9-11-3 if we happen to trade into that. Looks like blue doesn't have a victory point. So if they're going to trade, they're going to have to be a little generous. Nope, I don't want wood, not without a port. So, another thing I want to mention is, yes, ports are always a priority, but in this particular setup, I'm not as concerned. Like, yes, my flexibility is really low, but the reason I don't have to be too bothered is because we make what we call a perfect or wheat sheep ratio, which is where you generally make 1.5 or 2 pip, like basically 1.5 or 2 times the amount of or wheat as you do sheep. You can traditionally utilize those cards and empty your hand on your own without a port. Blue is getting incredibly strong. We know one's non-knight and they just got 2 fresh. So they need to be gang robbed. But the idea at this point is we have to compete on army because nobody else has the power or potential to. Black is very clearly playing road, and then unfortunately red is just kind of dead in the water this game. I don't think red has a chance at all. They're not getting a port. They don't have expansion options. Their production's terrible. Black has a good chance if they pull a Monopoly or Year of Plenty early, but presently the only competitor is blue. So traditionally what we would also do here is try to look toward red to see if they have any value with their cards, but it's kind of tough, and it's kind of understandably tough, I think. Like, I give this trade to anybody except blue if they're willing to look at it, but no, I don't have it. Can do next brick if you want. Yeah, okay. That actually pushed it through. Whereas I do understand I need the city to... that's a hard decision. So city versus dev here. I could city it. Actually, no. I'm going to city it, boo. Maybe. Let me think. No. So I'm trying to decide between 2 devs or city there. I'm going to take the city. Yeah, so red's a dead player, and the thing is with dead players is you need to give them a reason to play. So actually, what I'm thinking here is... it's a little bit contradictory, but... I'll see, and I don't really even have a good spot. I think I just have to hit the 6 because blue is on it. So anyway, what I was about to say is what I'm thinking of doing is a little bit contradictory, but I'm thinking about just giving a dev card to red every single turn. And the reason being is I don't necessarily want to challenge army unless it's to the extent that it prevents blue from getting points. So what I mean is if I can cheaply fuel another player into being what we call a batch, which is basically the equivalent of somebody that doesn't have a great chance to win, but can use more cards than I have to use, right? Presently, though, I think I do have to 4-1 for another card, but that's the game we play. And I could drop Row Builder, but blue has a confirmed non, so I just want to get more info first. But we can snipe the wood port with the 3-1, and that might give us flexibility for trades with some of these other players, depending on how the 9 does. Also, it could be a potential Monopoly number. If we pull a Monopoly, everybody except us is on a 9 wood hex. So settling on the wood port actually not only gives us the point, which you generally need at least 2 settlements additionally built with or wheat sheep, but you have the flexibility of turning the wood into any card. And because it's inflated significantly, you wait for a city to drop on one of these, and that's a lot of value. But blue is pacing very, very hard, very quickly. Damn, this 10 keeps roll. I think it's rolled twice when it's blocked. That's 4 wheat, and that could just been another city. I'm gonna try to help you, red, if I can. Ooh, it's a good roll, but now we need a sheepy. Don't call me a scammer, Blue. Blech. I probably have to 4-1 ore again for another dev. If he plays, yeah, he's going to play knight here, right? If he doesn't have knight, that's interesting. Ooh, potentially no knight. Maybe he wants to mono my ore. I could see that, but there's not a whole lot. I mean, I have 6, but the rest is in his hands. Okay, slow play. Maybe slow play to see what we roll. He probably hits my 10 again, though, but it puts me under, and it gives him another ore, which he then can use to city or pop again. That's rough. I don't really see us outpacing blue, because the issue is I think black very quickly gets to like 7, 8 points. Oh my god, and they stole the 1 out of 8 wheat. That was the worst card they could steal. 1 out of 8. So if we don't roll a wheat number, now that our sheet number is blocked, we effectively have a dead hand. Oh boy, that could have been any other card. There we go. And I roll 7. Okay. Sure. Nice. Okay, I get the steal. So I can buy a card if I get a trade. I don't mind 4-1ing it because blue probably knights me and then my hand is empty. But it's okay. Black does the 1-1. We pull knight. Another thing too is I kind of just want to play the road builder, but we could also potentially sneak road if black kind of like goofs off a little bit. Let's see if he plays one or if he has 3 nons. Yep, there you go. 8 points, and he probably solos me again. Yep. That's why you have to pace. What's tough too, though, is he rolls into a city. I mean, thankfully it's only doubled, right? He only gets 2 ore. But his way to win now should be city. And then if he's on 9, then he road settles on 9-10. There's a good chance he has 2 VPs. I would wager he has at least 1 right now, but the other one is technically unconfirmed. So I don't mind throwing this right back over here. Do 1-1. Nah. Yeah, I'm not giving you a city for 2-1. But he does make a point. It takes me under. Okay, so 2 nons confirmed in blue's hand. So potentially 8, road, settle, and then city would be their quickest way to win. And yeah, they're thinking. I mean, there's a chance they have a mono and a VP. That's why they're calculating, because with their 5 cards, I don't see why they wouldn't just pass. Because I don't think they have an actionable hand. Unless they're thinking about... They don't have perfect city, I don't think. Oh, he's just typing a comment. Like to make black city as long as possible. Yeah, I see. I'll let him talk. Wait, no! Red! Gosh darn it, now my 10 goes crazy. I mean, if he gives me the 1-1... Yeah, I'm gonna take the 1-1s. Sorry. So I'm gonna take the 4-1 and settle. I could do this as well and double pop, but I think my end game is gonna be flexibility here. I don't know, maybe this is wrong. Possibly. Actually, what the heck am I doing? I should have tried to trade for a wood there. That's okay. Yeah, I think I maybe should have just tried to trade for Nah, I'm not giving you another ore. His hand might be still a card short. So I think I should have definitely tried to trade there for a wood. Like another ore even, possibly. Yeah, he's offering 3-1s, which blue is going to snap at. Despite saying he wouldn't do. But yeah, rather than porting 4 wheat there, I think I should have just given up another ore and given him a guaranteed city. Because that would have saved me 3 ore. Or, excuse me. Yeah, that would have saved me 3 ore and then allowed me to do city settle. And effectively still would have given him the city. So I think that would have been the correct play. But live and you learn. That might have been a game-changing mistake. Because now I effectively put black on 8. And then blue is already on 8. And I'm still on 5 without a win con. So I think that was a pretty big mistake on my end. Using 4-1 when I really can't afford that luxury. Because if I'm playing BTT, I need this game to go on as long as possible. And red's numbers aren't hitting. Oh no, they play Road Builder. They play Road Builder. So I did make the correct assessment that I should have sniped this as quickly as possible, but then it doesn't matter because they go that way anyway. Okay. Black has a shit ton of sheep, but the issue is that I can't really trade them a lot because I'm not giving 2-1s here. Hell no. I would rather port it. Yeah, I understand his concern as well, but I have Pop City, so I think that's just as good for me. Nice 7 out. That's really important. That's really, really important because that guarantees that black doesn't have a completable action. Their hand is flooded with sheep. I think best case scenario, they can buy a dev or build a road or 2 now. No, you don't. Yeah, they buy a dev and they build 1 road. It's possible they just pop BP and they could be on 9 now. Bleh. I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. He doesn't even have that, I don't think. He has a brick in his hand. How am I going to reach 10? Dude, you have 8 open settle. What do you mean, how am I going to reach 10? That's a stupid question. Sorry, but that's kind of... I don't have a spot I can dual hit, but I need to test his card. And I think I hit wood. Still no VP. They're both on 9. They're both on 9. I understand it. But me, I have to pop to get a knight to take the 2 points, and then I still have to score 2 other points. So it's not the easiest thing for me. I'll even give 2 cards at this point. Yeah, I know, I recognize I'm giving his win con away. Oh yeah, he has win in hand. You're plenty, hermano. Oh, that's frustrating. That's so frustrating. I could try to offer for wood. Just the sequence of pulls, but also they just outpaced us. I think giving them the city might have been a mistake, but it's effectively also caused because red is a dead player. Traditionally, you always want to have someone that can fight road, and I would have been willing to help them, but look at the amount of cards that they actually produced, right? Where's that stat? Blah, 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 blah. Like, they produced less than half of every other player's cards, so we couldn't even really get them out of the hole. And then the one dev they bought was a Year of Plenty, and they used it to settle as opposed to getting an earlier city. So that was kind of just really unfortunate. But no, I mean, this was a good game. Again, I don't only want to post games that we win. If we look at the dice stats, 3 and 4 really overrolled, which were pretty big numbers for both black and blue. Obviously, the 4 was important for us as well, but we were hit quite a bit on the 10, which limited our sheep quite a bit. So I think this could have been a winnable game. What I really should have done was not... I don't think I should have traded black at all. Like, I gave them a couple of ores here and there for the sheeps to help pop. But I really think we should have just constricted blue a bit more. And then I should have just kind of like almost embargoed black in the sense. Like, they still probably get a city, but the fact that I helped them gave them the city a turn or two too soon. And then, of course, the fact that they pull Year of Plenty VP in 2 cards is perfect for them, considering the fact that there's a much higher chance they pull a knight, right? There's 6 knights left in the deck. So in order to pull a VP Year of Plenty, I believe, but I could be wrong, that it's it's roughly 50-50 odds to pull a VP mono or Year of Plenty, but then to pull and get 2 non-knights is incredibly low luck, right? You're winning 2 50-50 odds. Well, actually, that's not terrible. But basically, in order for that to go his way, he needs to win 2 50-50s. And if I don't trade him the city, that probably takes a little bit longer. Because we have army in hand, right? Let me look at Blue's cards, because Blue obviously had the VP. That much was very apparent. So Blue had a sheep, 2 ore, a sheep, and 2 wood. So that's a very transparent hand. If Black doesn't win there, Blue's only chance to win is to roll into a city, which would be a 5 or a 3. Actually, they would be short, because their hand would be 2 wood. They don't have a wood port, a sheep, 2 sheep, and 2 ore. So actually, they don't have a roll to win on their turn, because they would need to build a city. But they could buy 2 cards with a 5 or a 3, which again gives them roughly the same odds as Gene here, either to pull a VP or to pull a mono, which guarantees them... actually, no, it doesn't, because I get army there. But they could still potentially fight for it. But what I'm trying to say is Black, I would say, maybe has like a 25% chance to win within those 2 orbits. And then Blue, if Black misses, has probably significantly less. I'm not great at math, but I would say maybe like a 10% chance to win if Black misses the double pull. And then when it gets to our turn, we're guaranteed 8 points on our turn now. And then the other thing is we would have 3 more dice rolls to go, plus playing the knight for the steal. So our rolls to win are pretty high, in the sense that we really only need 2 points. Whether that comes in the form of the fact that we held 2 brick is hilarious. Whether the fact that comes in an 11 plus a wheat number that lets us road settle and then get the city for the 10th point, or we get a city and pop, which gives us roughly the same odds again. But because we have 3 dice rolls and a knight to steal, that gives us options to figure out the flexibility of our hand. If we don't win this turn, which there are good odds again, the following orbit becomes a toss-up on who wins between me and Black, because Blue is effectively removed once we play a knight and get another knight or get a mono. So I thought that was interesting. This one was a little bit longer because I talked a bit more, obviously, but hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And like I said, let me know if you have any questions for me. And yeah, take care, stay safe, God bless.